My name is Hannah, and I suffer from anxiety and depression. I've been struggling with anxiety and depression since I was like in 5th or 6th grade, so about 10 years. Having this definitely affected my high school experience because I was still learning how to deal with it and kind of doing it on my own because my mom didn't really believe me, and I didn't really want to talk to my dad about it because we don't really have that type of relationship. So I'm closer to my mom. I'm more like my dad, but I'm closer to my mom. So I would talk to her, but we have very different personalities. So she would just be like, kind of get over it. And I guess she didn't believe in medication, so I would ask her, like, hey, can I go to the doctors and possibly get prescribed something? And because I was really suffering, and she was like, definitely not, because she thinks that stuff ruins your brain, which probably is true, but when you're kind of suffering that much, you're just like, I really want to try anything to feel a little different, you know?
Personally, I have suffered from panic attacks, and so I think it's really important to know your triggers and to identify the type of therapy that works for you. For me, meditation and yoga are amazing, and when I find myself starting to feel a trigger coming on for a panic attack, I do some very, very deep breathing until I can get myself out of that situation. One of the things that triggers me personally is large crowds. So particularly when they're moving. I could go to a concert with 20,000 people and I'm fine sitting in my seat, but when we're all coming in and out, I start to feel the anxiety coming on and the panic coming on. So it's a lot of deep breathing while I'm walking through that, and I know that I'll get out. So I think behavioral therapy, talk therapy, I almost recommend whatever works for you. Everyone's so individual how they react to treatment, that it's really about finding a person or a group with whom you feel physically and psychologically safe and figuring out what works best for you.
I guess another thing that people don't really talk about is having intrusive thoughts. Like, you can just be driving along the road and you see a ditch and you're like, you know what if I just go like this and go right into the ditch? And it's like, normal people shouldn't be having those thoughts where you could just be like, what if I just jump off a bridge or something? It sounds stupid to say, but it's like you have these thoughts and then you think to yourself, like, what am I thinking? Like, it's just like little things that you wouldn't actually do, but like for some reason they just pop in your head. And I don't really know if that's more anxiety or depression talking, but it's definitely not a good part of it. My doctor supplied me with Xanax, Zoloft, Wellbutrin, and a couple other ones that didn't really work, so I didn't use those very long. While I was on the medication, my well-being was just, I thought I was fine, but my family didn't think so. They thought I was like a zombie, and you kind of become numb, and you think things are okay, even though you're doing things that you wouldn't normally be doing, like going to parties and mixing like your medication with alcohol. I would cope by actually taking too much. Like, I would take more than I was prescribed. There was one time I took like a handful of Xanax just because I was like, this isn't doing anything for me. And well, it was, because you kind of just blank out. And there was one time I was driving to the mall and there was heavy traffic, and I don't know, I just was completely out of it. And so we were on the freeway, but there was so much traffic, I ended up like bumping into a car in front of me, and there was no damage, but it's just like I was so just like out of it. It wasn't even braking, So it's
we live in such an interesting society. It's easy to throw medication at things, and I think oftentimes people feel more comfortable taking a medication than they do seeking out a therapist. Like any profession, there are some awesome therapists out there, and there are some not so great therapists out there. And sadly, we still do have that stigma that if you're seeing a therapist, there must be something really wrong with you. But that's something that you could keep to yourself. You don't have to share with everybody. But I think that a combination, if if medication is the right thing for you, I think that should be combined with therapy type work. So again, I think it just kind of comes down to the situation and the individual and what works best. Most anxiety therapeutic treatment can be very helpful. Depression, depending on the level of depression and whether it's situational or the triggers that have caused it, I think some medication is very appropriate for that. Interestingly enough, the federal research or the federal dollars that are earmarked for mental health research, 95% of it is focused on drug and very little on therapy. Yet research shows that therapy can be a very helpful and appropriate mode of treatment.
How others can help other people that suffer from it, I guess, would just be a little more understanding. Definitely understand that even though you might not feel anxious all the time, you don't understand it. Doesn't mean that not something else is going on in the other person's head. So you can't just be like, it's not real. You have to accept that maybe it is.